Crawford in the house. Let me start this video with a shout out to a few people. First of all, my main man, Kevin Walls, who I got to spend time with over the weekend with his basketball operation. Thank you for making me a part of that. I'm the Deputy Associate Commissioner for the North Camden Basketball League. So, what's up to my man, Andre Barrera, who covered the Jaime Munguia versus Gary O'Sullivan fight over the weekend. To Mr. DG or MRDG, to Eric Benjamin, to PCJ, to Future at intothefutureworld.wordpress.com, to Shailene McReynolds, to Rain Alchemist, to A. Kumar, to Thai Hero 708, Stick and Moves Productions, and to Kelsey Lou at kelseylou.com, KELSIELOU.com. Stay fit, Kelsey. So those are a few of our friends, supporters, those who like some of our articles on the website, some of our videos, so on and so forth. Okay. I was off on the Jesse Hart thing. Not only believing Hart might eke out a decision after surviving a knockdown or some rough patches, but I thought this would be a good fight with a lot of back and forth action. Last Saturday night at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Atlantic City. Jesse Hart, for all his talk about avenging fellow Philadelphia fighter Bernard Hopkins' knockout loss to Joe Smith Jr., he came out and did more grabbing and running than anything else. Talk about selling wolf tickets. I mean, you figured a Philadelphia fighter who was born and raised and who has been in the battles Hart was in, there would have been a better effort, a do or die effort from Hart, a guy with 21 knockouts in 28 fights coming in. You expected more. I expected more. Fighting 1 hour away from Philadelphia in front of many fans who came out in support, you expected more. I expected more. Especially with the continued promises of revenge. Then after the fight ended, we got what's been used so often in boxing. Excuses disguised as non-excuses. Hart's comments were, "I hurt my right hand a week ago. You can see it's messed up. I don't want to make no excuses because Joe fought a great fight. I hurt the hand in my last sparring session and thought I could overcome that. Credit to Joe for doing what he had to do." Come on, guy. if you're going to give the man credit, give it to him. Like, I'm not going to make any excuses, but we get this year after year after year. A fighter loses. Well, I'm not going to make any excuses, but, and then they make the excuse. To make matters worse, Hart was a 4-1 favorite. That's a big favorite in boxing. And remember how we say boxing is not a triangular sport. Sully B won a wide decision over Joe Smith Jr. Jesse Hart won a clear decision over Sully B. So Hart should beat Smith Jr., right? Not so fast, my friend. The only thing I can think of, notwithstanding the excuse about the injured hand, is early on, I think it was the first round, Smith Jr. landed a body shot that hurt Hart. And maybe Hart said to himself, man, I knew this guy could punch, but I didn't know he could punch like that. Outside of that, I'm not sure. You could have argued the fight could have been stopped at a couple of points. Smith Jr. was throwing at will and staying on top of Hart, while Hart didn't give him anything to respect in return. Smith Jr. knocked Hart down in the 7th round in what should have been a clear win for him. And 2 judges saw it that way. Eugene Grant saw it 97-92 for Smith Jr. Joe Pasquale had it 98-91. However, you need to keep an eye on Judge James Kinney, who not only had the fight close, but who inexplicably scored the fight 95-94 for Hart. No way. Kinney needs to be suspended, if not investigated. Hart's only 2 losses before Smith Jr. were 2 close decisions, 2 close ones to Gilberto Ramirez. Hart got caught and dropped from a sweeping right hand in the 7th as he was trying to back away, and he took a knee. And then Joe Smith Jr. spent the 8th round giving chase, trying to finish it. Smith Jr. busted up Hart and hurt him in the 9th and 10th. And Hart, during that time, finally landed something that stopped Smith Jr. in his tracks and off balance. But Smith kept coming, and Hart survived again. Credit to Joe Smith Jr. I mean, it seems like, just because I've seen him on undercard, seems like he's been around forever. But he's only 30, and he has a legitimate shot if he works on some things to get a title shot and maybe become a champion. So we'll see. We all know the tools he has, the power and what have you. But if he can put some other things together, he may have a shot. The lead up to the main event featured 2 undefeated guys as Steve Nelson, a Terrence Crawford protege, took on Chem Killick. In this fight, there just seemed to be a skill difference here as Nelson fought beautifully, whether it was the jab, the lead right, or the counter. He was a master in there. Nelson, who appeared to be the shorter, stockier guy, he just kept moving forward, and Killick didn't punch enough to keep him off. Nelson is listed at 5'10". Maybe he is, but I don't know about that. Anyway, during the fight, Killick tried to change things up by going to the body, but just like Joe Smith Jr., Nelson kept coming. Nelson took some shots, but he's crafty defensively and slick offensively, and he has a nice left uppercut that scored, and he also landed the right uppercut also at the end of the I can't was it the sixth? I'm not sure. Eventually Buddy McGirt, obviously with Maxim Dadashev in his head, let the Atlantic City officials know he wanted the fight to end, and that was it. You know, Timothy Bradley Jr. and Andre Ward, I met Dre Ward. Sorry, Dre. Forgive me. Bradley and Ward, those two are the perfect complement to each other. Now, look, they may never win an Emmy, but they are truly boxing's odd couple. Ward keeps things politically correct, and Timmy, he's just street with it. You understand? He doesn't care who he hurts with his commentary, and he definitely doesn't mind cutting you off mid-sentence. And he got Ward nice a few times on the portion of the telecast I watched when I got home. So in a minute, I'm going to ask you to stop this video and look at the link to a video below. Two examples. So pause this video and go to the 4-minute, 10-second mark at the link below to about 4 minutes and 30 seconds. So it's only 20 seconds. Ward was wondering if Killick was off to a slow start because he was trying to get warmed up, or if it was Nelson's boxing that prevented Killick from getting off. And Timmy jumped in and said, "It's Nelson's boxing ability, Dre." Timmy is funny. But the funnier moment, same video. Go back to the beginning. Go to like the 30-second mark of the link below, the video below. And until about, I'm going to say 45 seconds. So that's only 15 seconds. Dre Ward talks about how eerie it was to hear Killick at the fighter meeting say he was willing to go to the ultimate place to win. He was being politically correct. He was like, Killick was saying at the fighter meeting he was willing to go to the ultimate place to win. And Timmy jumped in and said, and he was like, he said die, Dre. He said die. See, Andre Ward was trying to clean it up, and Tim is funny, man. But his message to Ward was, keep it real, bro. Quote the man for what he said. He said he was willing to die. And it's just interesting. It almost, and then during the fight, just as most of the fights, Tim's observation is different than Ward. It's almost like the brass is encouraging them to disagree with each other on air to keep it interesting, because it gets funny at times. This was no exception. All right. Boy, excuse me. I'm just happy that was no harm done to me and no major harm done to Killick, Nelson said. He's a great opponent, But he knows his fighter. He knows when enough is enough. By this time next year, I want to fight for a world title. I leave that in the hands of my management and Top Rank. Well, Killick may just get that shot. We'll see. We'll see. All right. The Adorno brothers had mixed results. Okay. Jeremy had no problems as he scored a 4-round, easy, unanimous decision victory. He raised his record to 4-0 with 1 knockout. We talked about the Adorno brothers in our pre-fight analysis. However, the more hyped and talked about prospect, Joey Adorno, who came into the fight undefeated at 14-0 with 12 knockouts, is lucky he stayed that way, undefeated. Garcia touched Adorno with a nice left uppercut early, followed by a nice left hook a minute later. And Adorno landed some flash combinations, starting with a left hook to the body and a nice right to the head in the second round. It was a very close round. And I don't have the scorecards to see how the judges looked at it, but I think New Jersey not only has the best commission, but the judging is fair, because if it isn't, Larry Hazard will suspend you and you'll be on the bench for a while. I'll go back to that Paul Williams Erislandy Lara fight where the judges got it wrong and they were punished for it. Hazard, listen, Larry Hazard is, in my opinion, as far as commissions are concerned, I think he's the best commissioner in boxing. So anyway, so I thought Hector Garcia had a very good 5th round, and he closed it strong. This was an 8-rounder. And in the 6th, he came out like he was shot from a cannon. And he put it on Adorno early. Left hook to the body, right hook to the body, left uppercut, jab, right hand. And Adorno, as we pointed out in the preview video, fights with the Miguel Cotto high guard. But somehow the Mexican Garcia found his way inside and around that guard. So Adorno has to tighten his defense up. Adorno also needs to use his jab more and not rely on the left hook, knocking people out early. And on the inside, it was all Garcia. Adorno would throw the jab, which was good, but then he'd move and Garcia would be on top of him. This fight was a good test for the young Adorno, who's only 20, but you have to be careful with these prospects. You know, everyone's in a rush these days. And if you look at Hector Garcia, he's been in there with Juan Carlos Burgos, who's a puncher, and also with Devin Haney, who can punch. He's never been stopped. And his last fight was against another undefeated fighter, Golden Garcia, who was 11-0-1 at the time. And that fight was scored a draw. So he's 14 wins, 7 losses, and 4 draws. 4. This fight with Adorno was scored a draw. So he has back-to-back draws against undefeated guys. And all four guys he's had a draw with had winning records. And if I find a copy of the fight, I'll leave it below. In round 6, they both started going to the body, but once again, Adorno would punch once and move, and I think Garcia at one point threw like 6 straight body shots, and Adorno got on the bike. So Adorno was skilled, but he has to train to throw more punches over more rounds to go with his movement. By the end of the 6th, both guys had blood. Adorno was bleeding in the mouth, and Garcia through the nose. I thought Garcia had a big 7th round as he walked Adorno down for most of the round and landed some solid shots to the head and body. Adorno didn't have much to answer, and his mouth began bleeding more. So Garcia, at this point, with 1 round to go, he wasn't fighting like a sparring partner. He was fighting. He came to win. And Adorno did what he should have done in the 8th. He should have done more earlier, and that is use the jab as he doubled it up early in the 8th and final round. He doubled up on it. There was a head clash in the 8th, no damage. Both guys were a bit shaken, but only a brief stoppage to check for blood, which there was none from the headbutt. Adorno then landed some nice counters as Garcia walked in without jabbing. He moved each time to avoid counters from Garcia. Nice uppercut from Garcia. Nice straight shot by Adorno. Nice uppercut from Garcia. Adorno decided at that point he was going to stop and just fight. And they both exchanged big shots. And as the fight came to an end, both guys threw bombs. Adorno's mouth and face were bloodied, but I think he got the better of Garcia in the 8th, and his left hook scored a few times. And if Adorno indeed won the 8th, which I think he did, that means he was down a point going into the 8th on the card, the even card. So he's got to go back to the gym and get better. More punches. His legs are good, as they should be at his age. Tighten his defense. Get back out there. But stay away from a guy like Garcia until his confidence is back. At the same time, you have to fight Garcia-level guys because too many lesser opponents, too many guys lesser in competition aren't going to get the kid better. Yes, have a couple to get his confidence back, but then he has to face another test to see if he's going to be real or not. Okay? So that was it from the Top Rank card. Julian Williams versus Jason Rosario is coming up this weekend. The next video will be about that fight either later today or tomorrow. Catch you on the next one.